Covered the NBA since the early 90s. Our friend, senior writer, Bleacher Report, Ric Bucher, also Fox Sports NBA analyst. Bucks Lakers tonight. You do not, Bukes, think it's an NBA Finals preview?
No, I do not. Apologies to my friends over at Turner, but I'm not buying that. I'm not sure that either one of these teams actually makes it to the finals. I still have the Clippers as the best team in the Western Conference. I picked the Toronto Raptors at the beginning of the year to come out of the East in spite of the absence of Kawhi Leonard. And I'm not coming off of that. I won't find out whether I'm right or wrong on the Raptors until we get to the playoffs and we find out how much they miss Kawhi in those last-second situations. But with the Bucks in particular, their blowing teams out is exactly what they don't need. They need to play close games. They need to learn how to win games on last possessions. It's a little bit like the Rockets a couple years ago. Remember when they were winning games by 20 and 25 and then suddenly you get to the playoffs and it's possession by possession and it's a shock to the system. They're a great team. Giannis is playing great. The Lakers probably have the best chemistry of any team in the league right now. But the Lakers don't
have as many good players as the Clippers.
No, they do not. If you go, I was just having this conversation with a former player yesterday who said, okay, so it's LeBron and it's AD. Who's their third best player?
They don't have a guy you trust with 12 seconds left.
Kyle Kuzma? Alex Caruso. Meanwhile, you go to the Clippers, you've got Kawhi, you've got Paul George, you've got Lou Williams, you've got Montrezl Harrell. I mean, it's just
more shooters.
The depth, and that's where the game goes in the postseason, where it's not you're using 10, 11 guys. I give all the credit to LeBron and Frank Vogel and how they've utilized the entire roster. But once you get to the playoffs, it's your best 7, 8 versus the other team's best 7 or 8, and the Clippers just have it over them in that.
By the way, load management is largely a Kawhi issue. Harden, Greek Freak, LeBron, AD mostly want to play.
Yep.
Miami, by the way, is the opposite of load management, where they don't even give you practices off. They're the shock to the league.
Yes.
How does load management play behind the scenes? What are coaches saying about it?
They're not happy about it because they can't do their jobs. And they've been compromised as far as their authority in being able to push players. Because if you look at medical staffs from like 10 years ago, it was a team doctor and an athletic trainer. And now you got performance guys, you got all conditioning guys. The staff has expanded by 6 or 7. And so they have far more authority and weight when it comes to players playing. Well, the difficulty is when you have young players.
How do they get better?
How do they get better? And how do you coach your team if you're not practicing? And so it's not missing games. And by the way, the Clippers are sensitive to this for a very good reason. Kawhi Leonard's dealing with an injury. He's dealing. This is not I'm just taking games off. Maybe they thought that it wasn't going to be the way it was in Toronto, and it was their fault that they advertised that it wasn't going to be the way it was in Toronto. But the fact of the matter is, anybody questioning whether Kawhi Leonard wants to play or not, I think he's proven enough that you don't question his integrity or his love for the game.
Yeah, but there is a quirkiness. He is a little bit of an enigma. He's the one guy that didn't fit into Pop's system. I mean, fair or not, I think people see him as an odd personality and a unique guy, and frankly, it does work for him. So the cynicism, I think, is justified.
Well, this is the other part that goes to the load management issue, is that every player has his own doctors and his own advisors.
Right.
And then the teams have a multitude of people that are advising. And the coaches have moved so far down the list that it's now a matter of their being told when guys are available or when they can practice. And their jobs are on the line. Ultimately, they've got to get these guys to play at a high level. And when they're being told, this guy needs to rest, it's like, okay, so how do I get this team better? And so as a result, you have all these guys having input. Again, the issue with Kawhi was the break in trust. You don't believe that I'm really hurt. You're suggesting that I should be playing. That trust is ultimately what was broken. And so, yes, he's an enigma. This is the problem when you don't talk or you don't tell people what's really going on with you, is that everybody fills the vacuum and they generally go to the negative.
By the way, we talk about, you were the first to say this, that parity's not good for the league. We're not going to have that much parity. I can make an argument that the three of the best four players in the league are playing tonight. Giannis, LeBron, AD are playing in one game tonight. I like Utah and Denver. I think Houston's interesting. I watched Boston last night. Dallas is way better when Luka. But I don't think those teams can beat. I don't think any of those teams can beat the Lakers or Clippers 4 times in 2 weeks.
I would agree with that, but the problem is that all these teams aren't motivated to go after. By the way, parity is the worst thing to happen to the NBA. The numbers. I know you're a numbers guy. I know you're a ratings guy. Yeah. The ratings will tell you that when you don't have
hockey has it.
That stalking horse.
That's right.
Yeah. And one of the issues contributing to that is the fact that when you have that team that everybody is gunning for and says, we have to get better than them, what do we not have in order to beat them? Then you get a lot of talk about movement and trades and transactions. And that's really the lifeblood of what has made the NBA as popular as it is.
Stories.
Exactly. And the promise, the hope, the promise, the anticipation that someone is going to go someplace else and it's going to change the dynamic. Right now, we got Andre Iguodala, Kevin Love, and Drew Holiday as the guys out there that could possibly change places. And I don't know that any of them move the needle as far as changing a team who's a contender and making them a true champion. And so without that, you don't have the storyline. So everything is status quo because everybody thinks they got a shot.
By the way, surprised the Lakers are this good this early. Who gets credit?
I am surprised. I'm amazed. And it's a testament to LeBron James's ability to cultivate an inclusiveness and a chemistry. He's just so good at that. I think you got to give a lot of credit to Frank Vogel and how he has utilized these various parts. It took him a little while to figure out.
Will Vogel call LeBron out? Do you think Vogel has the – I mean, because I think it's important that there is a sense that Vogel – does he have any power in the room?
He's not that kind of guy. He's not going to call him out. So that is a great question because the Lakers really haven't hit any bumps in the road.
None.
Right?
They've exceeded every expectation.
And at some point, every team does. So when they lose 3, 4, 5, what are they going to do now? Can the chemistry hold? And I will say, like LeBron James is toying with the league right now. I watch him play, and he takes shots where it's clearly a guy who says, I can take this little step back here, or I can kind of fiddle around and then shoot this three. Because once I feel like the game might be in the balance or I need to make a move, I can get it done. But I'm going to kind of toy around. If it gets to a point where that begins to bite them in the ass, then the question is going to be, is Frank going to pull the reins?
Yeah, this is my D'Antoni knock. He's great in the regular season, but you don't have any real crisis. And when you get in the crisis and you got to call out James Harden, and James Harden's been telling you all year what time practice starts, you don't have any buy-in. So Frank Vogel and LeBron can get along great, but when you lose back-to-back games to Utah, does Frank have the bark and the respect in the room to say, guys, we got to make a shift in this game plan? Yeah. That's what I always worry about. That's my D'Antoni knock. You gotta have some bite. It's like parenting. You gotta yell early or you can't yell late.
For sure.
That's why I yell at my kids all day.
Yep, you got to get ahead of it early. I'll be really interested to see if the Clippers repeat what they did in Game 1 in the season opener and blow them out. Is that going to be a crisis?
All right, Ric Bucher, good NBA night tonight. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.